Hello there, guys. Good evening. Happy, what is it, a Wednesday? It's a bloody Wednesday. I never do this stuff on a Wednesday, but it seems duty calls. I hope some people watching listen to that music they just heard, because that is the sound, my friends, of judgment. I've been hanging on to some of this stuff for a while, and other people in the watch community have too. It's been rumbling under the floorboards, waiting for itself to show. And I suppose now is the moment. Get fucking comfortable. Grab yourself a beer or a wine or a coffee or whatever your thing is. Whiskey. And strap in, fellas. I'm going to tell you, if anybody has no clue what I'm talking about, because you're watching it after the fact, like tomorrow or the next day or something, there was a shitload of gossip about me today. Turns out the watch community is worse than a bunch of old Italian women on the street. Did you hear what he said, what he did? But I suppose we should already know that now for some time, right? I'm going to let people flow in here before I get to the point. That's how live streams work. Anybody gets tired of that or, impatient, I'm sorry for you. Take a chill pill if you can. Now, in the comments, I'd like to leave them open. Some people, when they're in a scandal, they close the comments. Yeah, you're dealing with an old-fashioned Irish man here. I can, go into the head first into the wind if I need. However, if you just say stuff like just pure insults and, blah, 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 you will get blocked just because it's nonsense. You want to ask me a question or something, or make a point that you think is valid, even if it doesn't suit me, go right ahead. That's fine. But if it's just like liar, stuff like that, it's like, oh God, man, I don't know. I'm sure there's a bar that wants you somewhere, So I'm just going to address those things. And it kind of suits me because I've been biting my tongue for a while, especially on one of these subjects in particular that we're going to get to. What's everybody drinking tonight, by the way? Over 1,000 people in. My God, don't you all love a juicy scandal? I'm having a little white, as I normally do. What's everybody having? Ouzo, Watch Warrior. Wow, I love it. I'd kill for an Ouzo right now with the ice and the cold water. It would be great. This guy is, I'm drinking your tears. I love that. That's great. I actually kind of love the hate. Like, if it's creative and constructive. Did you ever see that scene in the that new Guy Ritchie movie? And Colin Farrell is like, "Come on, I'm on fire, lads! Come on!" He's putting the gay back in Marvin Gaye, And then one guy goes, "Fuck you," and he's like, "Oh, that's disappointing." I actually like a good, you want to hit me with it, it's all good. I fear that you may be curled up in your chair in about an hour. Or maybe not. Sometimes people are just hell-bent on winning, and they do that classic la 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 la. They can't hear, It's one of the worst things in the world when you see the truth, but you can't accept the truth. Vodka, though, is a good. I'm glad I'm not drinking vodka tonight, but yeah. Anyway, Ray, good to see you, man. Thank you for the super sticker, dude. I have to say, before I do anything, I wasn't going to say this, but I want to thank all the support that came flooding in. All the people saying, I never liked that fucker and, never trusted him. And I think he's a scumbag and blah, blah, blah. What kind of guy records a phone call and so on. I'm talking about the guy who I'm going to speak about last. Before that, I'm going to speak about some other actually quite nice gentlemen who I had a misunderstanding with. And unfortunately chose a a bad way to approach the situation. Greetings from Aruba Design Atelier. Still love your channel, man. Can everybody sub to him? Never mind upvoting to me. Sub to Design Atelier. He's still one of the best watch channels, I think, especially for info. And he doesn't talk about scandals. Mark P. No idea what this is about. Just saw your comment on Instagram considering watches. Love your work, especially the walks and talks. Whatever it is, no doubt. You will put your side across. Yeah, well, that's all I can do, right? So, there's Jacob. I just saw Jacob. How are you, man? That was very nice. Very nice evening. Jacob came to Venice. A lot of people came to Venice recently. It's hotel rooms and Airbnbs are at a crazy high at the moment in Venice. High season, I guess, but there's a lot of my friends and fans of the channel who decided to choose now. This one's good. Who are you? That's good. I guess the storm and the scandal has brought in a few newcomers. Maybe you're being sycophantic there or sarcastic or something. But who knows? All right. Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about a few things, clear the air on a couple of things. Some of this is complete nonsense. Like, it's like, ugh, why even bother? Like, it's making a fuss out of really nothing. You know, but then some of the other stuff is a little dark and should be met head on, I think. But I am glad that you guys got another scandal, like, at least. And I was never involved in a scandal, so here I am. Look at that. The squeaky clean, not the scruffy drunk Irishman has a scandal. Look at that, finally. I got a lot of messages from people who have theories about that too. They're like, they're just waiting for you to fuck up because they hate you so much, you know. They're hate watching you, you know. So any chance for them to go, haha, I knew it, is there moments. My God, I hope they're jerking off right now. JB, Ocean, kind of creepy. He was recording you naked. Is that a real scandal? I don't know. Recording me naked? I don't know. Was I naked? I don't know. I think the guy probably records everything. But that would fit, right? If the shoe fits, I think is the way of saying it. So let me get into this. So I'm going to tell you a few stories, and I'm going to finish with the big juicy one, which is a big YouTuber. And if he thinks for 1 second that I'm going to back down, he met the wrong person. You know, this shit has been going on for a while, and I won't tolerate it. So here I am. But there are other things that coincided. It's no actual coincidence. I think the guy just jumped on the opportunity to ride the back of other guys who are genuinely good guys, I think. Genuinely. Maybe their friends aren't, but they are nice people. And we just, you know, I let them down a bit because the channel is hard to manage, blah, blah, blah. I'll get into that. Christopher Negroni, great to see you, man. 2 Negroni in waiting for the drama. Dude, I'd love a Negroni right now, but I wouldn't be able to articulate myself very well. So I should probably steer clear. A little light white wine. It's a very hot night. As you can see, I'm very red, guys. I was in the sun today, sitting out in the sun. At a certain point, I was ambushed by some fans of the channel as well. I mean, top off. I felt like an idiot, but actually they were super nice, super sweet. And I just got a call. I set them up at a table in a restaurant nearby, and the weather turned, and it was a big disappointment for them. This just happened half an hour ago. I was dealing with that. It was like, I was talking to the waiters there, and they were like, "Oh shit, we missed them," and they left. Anyway, guys, if you guys are watching, I'm so sorry you didn't get your table. I got you your table. I worked hard, but then the weather turned. They have to just take everything out from the terrace there. Otherwise, you'll get blown away. You know, your amuse bouche will just fly into the canal or into the Giudecca, more accurately. So I'm going to tell you a few stories. So settle in, and I'm going to start with the nice people involved, and I'm going to finish with the very not nice person. But I will start with me a little bit, and I want to tell you 3 things that I don't like. 3 things just about me that I don't like doing at all, or that I don't like in life. One thing is I don't like to say no. I hate saying no to someone. You know, if somebody asks me for a favor, I always go, okay, okay. You know, it's the Irish thing. I was in therapy years ago with an ex years and years ago, like couples therapy, you know, trying to put a relationship back together. Waste of time. But I remember she was Italian and, you know, I'm Irish. And the therapist saying, I need to introduce you to my Italian, not wife, but girlfriend. I need to introduce you to the Irish disability to say no. They don't know how to say no to a favor. You know, somebody asks them to do something and they just say yes. Even if they know they can't do it or it's going to be hard, they'll figure it out. They'd rather just say yes and put a smile on your face. I have the same disposition. I don't recommend, if you have a watch channel, especially a popular one, to carry that with you, because you might wind up with too much on your plate and you can't please everyone, and you said yes to too many things, and now you owe 10,000 people favors. It's a fault, you know. Second thing is I don't like letting people down. That sounds similar, but it's not exactly the same. Letting people down, like I didn't make it to the party, or I forgot to call you, or you know, if I say yes to it, like doing a video on the channel, and then I can't do it, or life gets in the way, or I have other shit, I keep wanting to tell the person, oh, wait, just give me a little bit more time. You know, I don't want to let them down. There was a recent thing there a couple of years ago. Before I moved to Venice, I was in a really horrific breakup, really horrible. And some of you guys know about it. It's the girl who kept the watches. Remember that girl? So, and tried to stop me to death. Some guys watching need to meet her. They'd be like her biggest fan, I suppose. But anyway, I had promised to bring my daughter and her boyfriend at the time to New York, and he's a jazz musician. And he was so excited. This guy's from a small town here in Italy. He would never have the opportunity, really. And he was so excited, like the prospect of going to New York, you know. And I was all gung ho, but then I went through this breakup, and it left me shattered, and in many ways, not just emotionally, but I had to get an apartment of my own, and I had to move out because I was living with a girl. It was all this stuff, and I just wasn't in the position to bring them. And I just kept saying, yeah, I'm going to figure it out. And they kept saying, well, did you get the tickets and have you booked the hotel? I'm like, yeah, I'll get on it. It's all of that. And it fucking broke my heart when I finally had to kind of concede and say, look, I can't do it. It's just the wrong moment. There's so much else going on, and I have to figure out my own shit right now. And I've been the rug has been swept from under my feet, and so I'm not in the position to be doing this. And it fucking broke my heart looking at this kid, young jazz musician, all excited to get to New York. Who knows if he'll ever get there? I'm sure he will himself someday, but it would have been a really nice shortcut for me to bring him, because all my friends are jazz musicians and rock musicians and classical musicians in New York. It would have been the ultimate hookup. He would have been on stage in 55 Club within 2 weeks or whatever. And it just broke my heart that promise didn't come to fruition. I still don't forgive myself. She's not with him anymore, and turns out he wasn't the perfect boyfriend anyway. So she tried to make me feel, put my mind at ease with that, but it still haunts me a little that I let the kid down, you know. So I don't like letting people down. And the third thing I want to say that I don't like is I don't like bullies. I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. I said that one time on a live stream with maybe Archie or Tim or something, and everyone on the panel was like, "We don't believe it." You know, I was like, "No, I was the quiet kid who was bullied," and they're like, "There's no way that was you." That'll go to show you how much you can change. I was the quiet kid who got bullied a lot in school, a lot. They broke my arm one time, broken it was this arm at the elbow, 7 fractures down the front, dislocated shoulder. They they did a lot of heavy shit. Got beaten up a lot. Lot of honestly, the physical stuff I can take, but it's the mental shit every day, you know. They just didn't like me. The kids I had kids in the school who they really liked me, and then I was very divisive. There were people who were really, really my friends and really, really liked me, and then some who just fucking couldn't stand me, you know. Some of you right now are nodding, going, "Yeah, I fucking get it. I would have been one of those kids." Fine. I was a very pretty little thing at the time, you know. That was before I discovered Scotch. So, you know, it would happen that the girls would say, "I like him." The fellas don't want to hear that, you know. Their response is, "I'm gonna beat him up later," you know. Nice, classy. I believe we have some of those similar kind of characters watching right now. They just couldn't handle it. They didn't like the way I spoke or anything or the way I looked. And one time, I went through a lot of bullying for a long time. It was Dublin in the 80s. Fucking hardest place. You get if you can survive Dublin in the 80s in a Catholic school, a Christian Brothers school, you can survive anything. Anything. Fucking hell. One fucking one of the brothers was let go because of sexual assault. He never got to me, but he got to one of my friends. And honestly, I think some of them would have chose that instead of what they got, which was an unbelievable beating. So if it wasn't the teachers beating the shit out of you, it was the your fellow pupils who were fucking jealous because they looked like fucking wallpaper and you didn't. Anyway, eventually I started fighting back in my teens. I started saying no. I saw a lot of people bullied, people I care for, people I love who were bullied too, because it was the thing to do in Dublin, in school, even secondary school, you know, more so. And I saw it break some people that I know and love. And I decided I'm not going to fucking let this break me. I'm going to stand up to this. So I started standing up to it. I remember this guy. They're a burly, big. They're always burly, you know, overweight. I guess they can't fucking look at themselves in the mirror or something. I don't know what it is. They bring their hardships to school, or maybe their dad beats them. I don't know. Maybe there's something more complex, nuance to it. There usually is. But I remember printing out. One guy was like kept fucking kicking the shit out of me, and just became a regular thing. I barely noticed it after a while. And I came to school the next day with printout. I had a printer and a computer. That was a very weird thing for a little kid in Dublin at the time. But my uncle, who recently passed away, had set it up with the family. God bless his heart. So I had a printer and I printed out that this guy, I'm not going to say his name, but this guy is a prick. And I fucking gave it out like flyers to everyone in the school. It was great. And then later, I was standing next to a window with my friends, and the window came up behind me, and my hair got grabbed, and it was him, and he started smacking my face. Why the fuck did you say that? And all my friends were like scared, you know? And I was like, as I'm getting smacked with my hair pulled back, I mean, he's a big fella. I mean, I didn't stand a chance against him. I'm like, because you're a fucking prick. I kept going. And my friends kept saying, O'Malley, shut up. Shut up. What you fucking, the more you say, the worse it gets. Like, I'm like, I'm not standing down from a bully. I will not. And that kept going in my life. Later with the band, you know, we're out touring, we get fucked over by promoters. The lads were gentlemen and they had a more timid nature. I was the guy who'd confront the promoter, sometimes too aggressively. I'd be like, fuck you, you know. Actually, here's a fun fact. The guy who brought us to Italy, first time we were brought to Italy many years ago, producer guy, or at least he fancied himself as a producer, turned out to be a total bull, a spoiled brat and a bully. And we spent endless hours in the studio with him, and he would fucking slam doors and throw hissy fits like a fucking girl, you know. And I'd look over at my bandmates, one of which was my brother, who I walked to school since he was yay high, being intimidated by this guy. So here I am from my background of getting the shit kicked out of me, and now I'm fucking, you know, a muscle gets stronger the more you work it out. So I fucking go ape shit on the dude. I never hit him, punched him or anything, but you know, I fucking wouldn't take any of his bullshit. And he'd be sorry. Later he tried to manipulate the band by reaching out to them. He would never reach out to me because he'd know he'd get a go fuck yourself, you know, what size is your cunt this week? You miserable piece of shit, you know. I'd hit him hard. Because bullies to me are the worst type. They're just the worst type in the world. And they need to be confronted head on. In all cases, threats, intimidation, insults, bullying, buffaloing, all these things are bad. So as I get into these few stories now, guys, keep those three things, if you will, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hope I can say comrades and friends, before your minds. So let me just check who's in here and if anybody who's doing super chats or anything. I don't want to miss any of that stuff. A lot of people in the room tonight, huh? Wednesday night gossip. Maybe Wednesday night should be the gossip night. Not sure there'll be much left after tonight. So, there's Random Rob. Wasn't going to watch, but how could I not? Hey, man. Good to see you. Really good to see you. Jacob Kendall, next GNT on me. Absolutely, man. Thank you. Thank you, Random Rob. So, when you have a YouTube channel, you get sent a lot of watches, shitloads, from all sorts of people. Colin, I'm Irish, not fake Irish accent. Haha, already in there. I love that. After 5 years Irish, but real Irish. And I also can say no. Well, good for you. That's a skill I still need to learn. I got my mother's heart. Too big. That's my problem, really. You get sent a lot of watches when you have a channel. Dirk Diggler, you still owe me $10 for that crap Mr. North CD. All right, man. That's great. I love that. And you know, you try to do your best with everybody, and you can't do everyone's watch. People don't send you watches out of the good of their hearts. It might be advantageous for your channel. You might be able to, like, it could be good content, you know, you might, But really, they're looking for something. They're looking for you to promote their watch or their business or something like that. And that's okay. There's no shame in that. But it's you really doing them the favor, which is why a lot of people pay. Okay. They pay for it. Zero West, I did some big videos with them. By God, did they pay? And those guys have incredible patience. And I was way behind schedule with them. And God bless them. They sat it out. I think they were happy with the result in the end, I might add. As I think everybody was. Like, take Air King Ben. He kept harassing me. Like, when is the video coming out about the Air King? And it turned into kind of a joke. I mean, it was all in jest, so it was fine. But he did keep pestering me. And I started saying, every time you say it, it brings it back a week, dude. So stop fucking asking me. And Air King Ben, if you're watching, weren't you happy with the results? I think I can assume you were. In fact, I might say that it was a head and shoulders above maybe what you were even expecting. Because I try to put a lot of thought into the videos. And I don't just do hands on the desk. You know, a lot of channels do that, and they do it well, but I don't. That's not my channel. I put a lot of thought in, sometimes to my own fault, my own detriment, I should say. So I'm going to tell you 3 stories really quickly, if I can, about relatively good gentlemen, if not very good gentlemen, who have been slandering me all day long, but I'm going to pay them that compliment nonetheless. And then I'm going to talk to you about a not very nice gentleman. So, very quickly. Right, YouTube is hard. You're right, man. It is. Try making videos that take 400 hours to edit. Like, although you just did one, Tim, so you know where I'm coming from. So I'm going to tell you about a chap who sent me a Zenith Chronomaster Sport, a watch that I parodied when it first came out. What's this? What's this? Daytona in disguise. Do you remember that video? Well, he reached out to me. He says, look, I've got one of these things. Sorry, a mosquito flying around. I've got one of these things. Would you like to review it? And I said, yes. Should have said no. Too much on my plate. But I said, sure. Sounds great. Thinking I'll get around to it, you know. And next thing, it's on my doorstep, you know. I'm like, oh, dang, there it is. Fuck. Okay. And we had a little banter back and forth. And he's a nice guy. And he was like, don't you agree the clasp is bullshit? I was like, yeah, it is. It's awful. So I thought, I had all sorts of ideas. What am I going to do? Am I going to like compare it to the Daytona, which of course seems like the obvious thing to do? And then I was like, nah, don't do that. Be more fair to Zenith. And it's a really impressive watch. And weeks go by. I have tons of other shit going on. Lots of other stuff. And weeks go by. And then I get another message from him going, hey, how's the video coming along? I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. I've got so much other stuff ahead of you in line, you know, but I'll get to it. I promise. Fuck, I'll get to it. I really want to. And now that I promised you, you know, I'll do it. More time goes by. Eventually he tires, you know. Admittedly, I understand. He's like, when the hell is the video coming? You know, okay. And I'm like, oh, you don't understand. I've had a lot of personal shit going on and all sorts of stuff. But I really want to, fuck, man. And, you know, that kind of thing. And he's like, just send the watch back. I'm like, oh, fuck. I let him down. Like, that looks awful. I feel bad. And it would have been a great thing for the channel, too. Y'all would have loved it, right? Close-ups, the background of Venice, or if I chose a different city or whatever. There was a lot of lockdown stuff going on, and then I had COVID. There was a lot of shit going on at the same time. But anyway. So eventually he's like, just send it back. I'm like, okay, man. And then I'm thinking, okay, I'll send it next week, but I'll film the shit out of it this week, you know. And I do. And then I forget to fucking bring it with me to ship. Shipping is another thing, by the way, which has been a big problem. I'll get onto that in a minute. And eventually he's getting tired. He's, I understand. He's getting impatient and he's like, where the fuck is my watch? Just send it back. And I said, I lost my green pass. I didn't have a green pass because they wouldn't give me the shot in my arm because I had COVID. I just recovered from COVID. So they wouldn't give me the shot. So then I couldn't get a green pass to go on the train. And I always like to ship from a certain guy in a different town because he helps me ship it kind of in the wink wink way. And I figured I'm doing him a favor. I'm going to send back his watch and he'll get fees on his end. Who the hell wants that? So I'm trying to break the law. There you go. I admit it. I'm trying to, that's my intention in my mind, to help the guy out because it doesn't seem fair to send his watch back and he gets fees, right? So I'm like, oh, dude, fuck yeah, I've got to bring it to that other town and it's a whole thing and eats up my whole day. But, I'm trying to do it. So then I just say, you know what, man, I don't have a green pass. I can't get on the train here. They're very stringent about that. Let me just buy the watch. I'll just fucking buy it. It's a great watch. I haven't really spent any time with it. I have boxes and boxes here of stuff. I don't even know if there's watches in there. I don't know. Like, people send me shit all the time, micro brands and so on. And I just said, listen, it's easy. It's probably easier for me to just buy it off you than fucking ship it. Just how much do you want? And he actually likes that idea. He says, actually, yeah, I'll take 10K, 10 grand. I said, okay, I'll just fucking buy it. Jesus, I'll add it to my list of disasters this couple of months. And I did have a bunch of them. So he wants PayPal. I was just speaking to somebody about PayPal the other day, and if they're watching as well, they can corroborate this. PayPal has the worst currency exchange on earth. Like, it's an insult. At the time, now the dollar is much stronger, but at the time, because of damn Biden, but at the time, the dollar is quite weak. So 10 grand in dollars would, because he's in the States, which is the reason why I needed to go to that other guy to ship it back. It would have been about 9.2 max in euros. So I'm like, fuck it, it's worth it. I'll just take it and maybe I'll sell it on after I do a review. But I go on PayPal and I'm ready to send it over, and it's coming in at 9.9. I'm like, PayPal, I hate you. I hate you guys. I hate you guys. So I reach out to him and I'm like, listen, man, is there any other way we can do this? Because it's like almost 10 grand in euros. Like, what the hell? PayPal is awful. Just send me your IBAN number, your bank details. I'll do your bank transfer. Do them all the time. He goes, no, I'm not giving you my bank details. I'm like, okay. What do I do? Do I just say okay, or do I explain to him how that's not risky in any way? And they do that all the time. And there's no way I could use his bank details in any nefarious way if he thinks I'm some sort of weirdo. I don't know. I'm like, all right, is that where we're going here? Okay. And then he says, can you send me a snapshot of your PayPal balance so I feel comfortable? I'm like, well, no. I mean, that's private. I mean, my PayPal balance, you want a fucking photo snapshot of? That's not your business. And also, give it to the person who just refused to give me their bank details so I can send them a transfer. Are you crazy? Like, you posture? You don't think I'm gonna posture? Like, what the hell? I'm gonna mirror your activity here, dude. You want to get nasty? I'll get nasty back. Like, what's the fucking point in getting nasty? Be a gentleman. I guess he was fucking browned off waiting for his watch back. Fine. So then I said, look, okay, never mind. I'll just send the fucking PayPal. Fine. Have it your way. And he goes, okay, but I can only assume you don't, what did he say? You're not acting in good faith. I'm like, okay. And he goes, I'm going to have to call a lawyer. I'm like, oh, what? Excuse me. What did you say? You're going to, I said, you know what? Okay. You're getting threatening. You're getting tough. Tough guy now, right? Really? Okay. You think I need to steal your watch? Look at the watch I have on, guys. Think I still need to steal a fucking Zenith? Please give me a fucking break. So I said, you know what? Do that. Call your lawyer. Do that right away. Don't threaten. Do. Never threaten. Go ahead. Now I want you to call your goddamn lawyer. The hell is that going to do? Try explaining to your lawyer how you sent a watch to a YouTuber. Like, it's ridiculous. So I call my lawyer and I'm like, listen, what would I do in this situation? He goes, listen, get the lawyer to contact you and you send it to the lawyer. That way, you know, it's all above board and registered and everything. There won't be any game playing. If there is, I'll call the other lawyer directly, and lawyers can talk to one another. He's like, do it that way and fucking send a registered mail and everything. That way the dude can't get nasty or pretend he didn't get it, or, you know, now that he's gone postal, like, who knows what he's capable of. So I said, fine. So I reached out to the guy. I'm like, okay, tell your lawyer to contact me and I'll ship it to him. So we did. Like 10 days later, I got the email. So I sent it. It originally got bounced back because they didn't want customs here, which is what I fear all the time. It's the whole fucking reason. Think I don't know what I'm doing, fellas? They were like, oh yeah, the contents don't match the value. I'm like, oh, here we go. So I had to redo it. And it got, I didn't redo it. My good friend who takes care of me at that shipping place took care of it, and it got reshipped out. That was April 13th. That was, you know, a month and a half ago or whatever. So that didn't go very well. I got some nice shots of the Zenith, but I don't have enough to make a fucking video. So that's that. So that didn't go very well. Now I get watches all the time. I get the Verona video, for example, the root beer, the first root beer video. I didn't own that watch. I was clear about that on the video. I said, my friend sent he wasn't really my friend. He's just like a viewer of the channel, but I just said friend. So he'd get all happy. That's nice. Send me this watch. You know, I had to film the hell out of it in Verona and then give it back to him, of course. The first time I met Mark from finewatchclub.co.uk, he just sent me a message and said, hey, I can send you some pieces to help your channel, you know. And he wasn't even, I mean, it's got to help him a little, sure. But he was even like, you don't have to promote me, you know. He sent me the rose gold Yachtmaster. It just arrived at the house. At the time, that was the most expensive watch I ever held in my hands. Times have changed now. But I was like, this guy just sent me this watch. Is amazing. I filmed the hell out of it. I sent it back to him. Done this many times. He's actually sent me many watches that I never got around to filming. And I just conceded defeat and went, oh, fuck, I'll just send it back to you. But the three examples where it didn't work very well are the very three that just kind of blew up in my face today. Hurrah. The second one is the Seikos, the modded Seikos. Now, I can't say names. I'd love to say this guy's name and advertise his business, his Instagram, as I've done on the channel a few times. But I'm just expecting the nastiest of nasty here in the audience, you know, waiting for any opportunity to flag the video or God knows what, you know. They're fucking, that's what gives them life, you know. So I can't promote. I'd love to though, because he's a good guy and he makes really good Seiko mods. So he reached out to me. Now this is about a year ago. Let me just see if there's any super chats or anything. I don't want to skip anybody. Anybody get offended before we go on another tirade? Thanks for the wonderful info regards to wonderful crazy life that seems to have a life of its own. It's true. Try running a fairly successful YouTube channel all on your own, because I'm a one-man band here, you know. which is, you know, part of the problem. Taking on too much and not being able to fulfill every promise, only being able to get to 60% of the stuff is a big problem, especially when you get sick of COVID twice in a row and you nearly die of it the second time. Like, there's so much that can set you behind in time anyway. Um, so thank you for that super chat, Rajan. The next guy, this is about a year ago, and he reached out to me. He said, "I've got Seiko mods. Is there any way you could review them on the channel?" You have to understand that's why they all send you stuff. They just want to appear on your channel. They know that if I really do the work that I normally do, it really sells the watch. I'll say his name because I don't think I'm. In fact, I think I'm in very good graces with him. Mark Goldberg, the other night on a stream, said to me, "You know what? You just made me want to buy a Tudor because I just did the Tudor Back Bay Pro video." And he's like, "You're the only person who made me want to buy a Tudor because there's what some are describing. I'm not. This is not my. I didn't coin this thing. The timeless watch channel effect, as in when you stare at a beautiful watch in a beautiful place with nice cinematography and nice music, I guess it has a hypnotic effect and people want to buy the watch. In fact, that Tudor sold like that straight after that video. I'm aware of the effect that it can have. Okay. I try to remain as humble as I can, but I'm also not an idiot. I know that if your watch is featured nicely, heavily on my channel, which I'd like to think is the only way it can feature, I'm not exactly hands on a desk, you know, some anonymous dude going, talking about the movement and the price, and then boom, gone. Like, I put a lot of work in. I'd like to think that that has an effect, you know, that has an influence. Anyhow, so the guy wanted me to look at mods and, you know, send me his watches. So he did. He sent me 4 and he said, "You can have one in lieu of payment." I was thinking, well, I don't really need one. Okay, fine. Clearly he's strapped for cash and this is his way of paying. That's fine. You know, it's all good. You know, I'm not, you know, pinching, like scraping people for every penny they have. In fact, quite the opposite on the channel in most cases. So he sent me the watches. I was in the middle of other stuff. Time went by. Things didn't happen. I had great ideas. I was like, how am I going to do this? I want to do something interesting. And I thought, let me do something on Seiko mods in general. The modder world, which is a whole other world. The Seiko modders, that's like a whole bunch out there that have nothing to do with Rolex or Omega or any of that. So that's what I wanted to do. I had ideas, but, you know, getting around to doing it and putting it together is a whole other thing. So time went by and he got impatient. He started getting itchy. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. I really want to get around. These are good watches and so on. I actually asked him, would he sell some of them? I was like, I might buy 1 or 2 of these. You know, maybe I'll give them away on the channel or give them as gifts. Or they're actually really well made. And he gave me a price. I think he sells them for like, I know I'm about to reveal his actual margin here, but honestly, the guy just fucking totally shat on me all day. And his beautiful friends, you know who you are. So I'm going to tell them your margin, man. I think he said 300 or 350 he would give at cost, but I think he charges like 800, something around that. I don't quite remember the figures, but I think it was around that. I remember 800 and yeah, was it 365 or something like that each. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll keep the one you gave me, you know, as for featuring, and maybe I'll buy another one. So I'll send you back 2. Anyway, he started getting, oh yeah, this is what happened. Here it is, man. I'm back in school again. These guys, I don't know who they are. I start getting emails and texts and messages on my Instagram from these other dudes. Give the guys watches back or make the video. You know, I'm like, did he just call his goons and rat on me? Like, I'm doing him a favor. I'm about to fucking promote his channel. I don't need your little Seikos. Yeah. No good deed goes unpunished, right? So I'm just like, is this really happening? Like all the boys are moving in to like surround me, like in the schoolyard when I was 12 years old. How fucking dare you? No, 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 no. We don't do that. So I shut these guys down very quickly and I reached out to him. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, no, no, we don't. What, you want to intimidate me with your mafia goons or whatever you think they are in the watch world? No, no, no. That's not how we work here. So it took me a little while to calm down from that. But eventually I went, look, the guys, I've had the watches for quite some time. I better promote them. So I featured them on the channel. I didn't make some big bombastic video, but I started featuring them, like saying, oh, look what this guy sent me. Again, I'd love to say his name, but now I can't. But I plastered his name and his Instagram and everything all over the bloody screen. And I showed how gorgeous the watches are. They're very well made mods, Seiko mods. And then I did it again. I did a state of the collection, but I started out with other watches and I showed they weren't part of my collection, but I showed what they were. And I said that these are, from custom Seiko watches, whatever, .com, whatever it is. And promoted them. And a lot of people replied. And then I started getting messages from a couple of those dudes, the goons, right? Saying, oh, finally you featured his watches and good. And that's great that you made good on your promise. I'm like, oh, thank you for your benediction, you fucking pack of wolves and your bullshit, It was just like, yeah, go fuck yourselves, guys. I had every intention of helping the guy out. But you know what? I have my own fucking private life at the same time, right? Everybody wants a piece of you when you have a popular watch channel. Someone watching right now knows exactly what I'm talking about. So I promoted them and I thought everybody was happy, but I wanted to make the cool video. And I got an idea. And now that it's probably not going to happen, catching the mosquitoes is like catching the trollers. I'm sure there's lots of trollers in the comments, guys. Best of luck to you. Just keep spitting that stuff, whatever gets you off, whatever gets you hard. I had a great idea. I'm going to tell you what it is, and I never do this with the channel. I never reveal the idea ahead of time, unless it's another YouTuber I want to consult on or something. So there's a guy called Davey504. He's a bass player. He's actually Italian, but he's got like 10 million subs. And he goes, "What's up, slappers?" Maybe some of you guys know the channel. It's actually really fun. And it's full of, hard cuts and fast editing. Total opposite to my channel. More like Russell, Mad Watch Collector. Great channel. He cuts it up really, really fast and does all these funny little edits and stuff. It's great. But this dude, Davey504, is the king of that, okay? He's like amazing. What's up, slappers? Slap like now if you like bass and stuff. He slaps the bass. It's funny, dude. And it's almost a cult culture now on YouTube. So I thought, what if I said, what's up, modders? And I did a cool thing about the modding world. And I go, what's up, modders? Slap like now if you like to mod Seikos. Look at this one. Look at that one, and do a whole thing. Because I'm always thinking of new shit, So I thought this would be great because this will finally, get him. I'll feature obviously his modded Seikos as the example of good modded Seiko. So he'll start his phone will start ringing, he'll get lots of orders and it'll be really funny and maybe the fucking video will go viral or at least it'll be very well recognized as a funny video because I do like to do funny videos. If you know my channel, you know what I'm talking about. The Watchfinder parody, the Chronomaster Sport thing, all the Lenny shit. You know that there's comedy in there, you know, and I enjoy doing the comedy stuff. So I thought, you know, I'm gonna do this. He kind of hates me a bit, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna turn it all around, and then he'll go, "Thanks," you know, and I'll be like, "Well, thanks for being patient. I'm sorry it took so long, and I'm glad that I finally got something going for you." Apart from the other promotions that I did, but then he just got fucking super weird. Like he started writing me all. I knew you'd betray me and stuff. I'm like, what? What are you? You think I need to steal your watches? Are you out of your mind? Like, do you know what the collection I have? I have lots of Seikos as well, like limited edition Seikos. You know, I don't need to be stealing somebody's watches. Think about what you're implying for 2 seconds. Put it in perspective, dude. And then I'm thinking, like, people are going to buy these things immediately from me. It's going to be a great thing, you know. But he just got fucking crazy. And apparently he went nuts today as well, because he finally had his moment of, are you kidding me, dude? Jesus Christ. I actually still have the folder on my desktop. It's called Davey 504 Seikos. And it has me there in front of the camera going, "What's up, mothers?" Making an idiot of myself, as usual. But that, unfortunately, is never going to see the light of day. If anything, I'll make it with a different modder now. How about that? Jeez, man. I know it took so long, and I know I was way behind time. But, man, no one's trying to steal your fucking watches. Are you kidding me? But as a favor to you, because this is the kind of dude I am, I actually have them here. And I'm going to show everybody them because there's nearly 1,700 people watching. Actually, this one was quite a popular one when I showed it on the... I had to go look for these. They were put away in a box. I just did a move. Everything was packed away. I haven't seen these in ages. Okay? It's not like I'm hoarding your watches and caressing them before I go to bed every night. They mean nothing to me other than what I'm trying to do for you and your business. Okay? I have other watches. Okay? Got it? But they are great. Just because you're an asshole doesn't mean you don't make good Seiko mods. Actually, I wouldn't say that you are. I apologize for that. Some of your friends are, that's for sure. I heard from one of them today, by the way, who made a big threat, like a life threat. A death threat is actually the real word for it. Classy friends you've got there. Nice guys. So these are the Seiko mods, and I've shown them already on the channel. This one's nice. It looks like a Yachtmaster. This one is really cool as well. It's blue strap. If you want to see them in high def, just go back through my videos. I think they're in the State of the Collection Part 1, and they're in one of my other videos, like 2 or 3 videos before that, or something like that. And what I'm going to do right now, because I know you have a business and you were hoping that I would give the business the push by advertising you heavily. And I was hoping to too, man. But shit, man, life gets in the way sometimes, and I'm sorry. But I still think they're really good. I do. Despite all your friends and their threats and stuff, which I don't take lightly in any way, I still think you make really good Seiko mods. So I'm going to say this. All those friends out there who think they have your back, why don't you buy one of his watches right here, right now? Buy one of these. You can PayPal me straight away. In fact, you know what I'll do? He wants 800 for these, and I know they only cost 3. Okay? Sorry to reveal that information, but it's the moment of truth today. If you pay 5, I'll pay the other 3. So I'll pay what I would have paid. And you pay 5. And you buy a watch off this friend that you care about so much that you're ready to threaten someone you barely know at all on email. and call them on their phone and do all sorts of things. Have a little class, fellas. What about that one? I think that's the coolest looking one. It looks like a root beer or something. The Timeless Watch channel at gmail.com is a PayPal address. And do it friends and family so you can back out later and make up some fucking excuse, right? You want to buy one of his watches, buy one of these. I'm keeping this one. This is the one I told him I liked because I already promoted him twice on the channel. He was actually very happy after the second one. I guess he got a lot of emails. So I earned it. And I have no qualms saying that. I did mention, by the way, on that video, that time that I said, I alluded to the fact that it was really late and that he was probably pretty pissed off with me because he's been waiting months for his Seikos to be featured on the channel. And I hadn't yet done it. So I was like, oh, fuck, you know. I think if I could buy all of these right now. But I think that would be disingenuous. And the last thing I want is those bullies to think they had their way with me. Because I won't fucking stand for a bully ever in my life. So I could buy all these now, but I won't. If you guys or any viewers love them, buy them. The Timeless Watch channel at gmail.com. Send me $500. I'd love to give you his email right now, so in case you don't trust me, but I'm not going to do that because that would be revealing, and then he could try and shut down the video. You know. So you're just going to have to trust me. If some of you don't do that, okay, that's fine. There's someone else right behind you who does. And trust me, there's a lot of people who have my back this evening. I've heard from a lot of them today. What do you think? The blue one? The root beer one? They're actually great. And they're super sturdy. And those straps are like mega sturdy. I talked about this at length previously on the channel. If you want to buy one, these are the three. The blue, the root beer, and kind of looks like an old Yachtmaster. It's even got the red seconds hand. See that? Goddamn camera won't focus. I'm so sorry. But again, you can see them in high detail in my State of the Collection SOTC video from months ago. Amazing. I don't know. I'll never understand why people decide they have to get heavy-handed. Like, you pull your sword out, you think I'm not going to pull my sword out? You think you're the only one in the room with a sword? I just love that shit, man. But you know, when you stand up to bullies, and I learned this in school as a kid, you get in trouble sometimes. Like, that's the next thing. A lot of kids can't stand up to the bully. They never get to. And that's heartbreaking to me. Heartbreaking. But once you do that, now the hard part starts. Now I used to wind up in the headmaster's office, you know, to answer for myself. Why did you stick that pen in that dude's fucking asshole? Well, because he threw it at the back of my head before. He's bullying and harassing me and fucking. So I got the pen in the back of my head. It fell on the floor. I picked it up and I went back to him and I showed him what was what. So now I'm the one. So you have to be careful. I mean, you don't have to be careful if you don't want to. You can do whatever. You know you're right, and that should be enough for you, right? You have to be careful. You stand up to bullies, you might get yourself in trouble. Remember, you're rolling with the pigs, with the swine. The swine start treating you badly, and by standing up to them, you might have to roll with them. So you wind up with shit all over you too, which is getting to our story later. But anyway, there's one more story to get to. Let me just, I'll take a little red wine. What's everybody drinking? And how's everybody doing? I'm sure there's lots of people in there going, liar, never. Good luck. Somebody's shouting for our little Dutch friend to come in. Oh boy. Dude, hang on to your tits. You won't believe this shit. This is the real clinger. But before that, I'm going to talk. Oh, you little bastard. Fucking mosquitoes. I'm going to talk about another one. And this is the one that kind of blew the cap off of everything. Blew the cap off, whatever. You know, there was no conspiracy. There is no big thing, discovery about the Times channel. Like some of you guys really want there to be. I wish there was. Like, there is no scandal. Sorry, guys. I was just late. I just had other shit to do, and I was just trying to make everybody happy, and it's impossible to. And some people decided to turn that into some sort of dark fucking conspiracy. Good luck to them. Weird. Weirdos. You know, maybe there's people out there who want to rob people's Seikos, but it ain't me. Okay, I have 6 Submariners. I have how many GMTs do I have? I don't even know. 4. I have a gold Submariner. Fucking AP. You think I need to steal some fucking modded Seikos? Good luck. Anyway, God give me patience. And if God can't do it, booze can. Cheers, everybody. Oh, that's really fucking good. Oh. I'm having I should tell, because I know most of the people watching are actually lovers of the channel who have big support for the channel. Barolo, Marchesi di Barolo. Marchesi di Barolo is right in the center of the Barolo town, as opposed to many other Barolos that are actually outside of Barolo. But they make Barolo, so it's different. There is a town called Barolo. And a town called Barbaresco and so on. But no town called Nebbiolo, because that's a varietal. Enough of the wine talk. The next one, and this is the third of those unfortunate tales. This one's exceptionally sad because it involves a little bit of, it's just a little unfortunate the way it went. So I was contacted a while ago, months back, fucking 4 or 5 months ago, by a chap who said he had Humphrey Bogart's watch. And I said, oh, wow, good for you. That's great. You know, I didn't even know who this guy was. And he asked, would I be interested in doing a video? He thought, like, yours is, out of all the channels, your channel could do this watch justice. And I said, well, yeah, man, that's interesting, you know. Fuck, yeah. Now you got me thinking, you know. And apparently Humphrey Bogart wore this watch. And we started talking about it, and I thought, well, maybe I could do like a thing. You know, I'm getting creative in my head. Now, ideas are cheap, you know. There's one thing having an idea, and there's another thing, you know, building and creating and finishing that idea, as any YouTube creator or any musician or filmmaker will tell you. I think it was Woody Allen said that art is 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration. It's all about putting the work in and realizing ideas are 10 a penny, but put the work in and make it real. So we had all sorts of ideas. We had a big back and forth. And I thought, yeah, I could do like a black and white thing, and I could wear like a Mac and a hat and smoke the cigarette and do the Casablanca scene with the piano in the background. And I'm at the bar going, of all the gin joints in the world, you know, I could do the whole thing. You know, I had lots of cool ideas. I was like, that could be really cool. So he sent the watch. Weird little, it's full gold, but weird little Gruen watch. I thought, God, wow, different times, man. I thought like the Explorer 36 mil was small. This thing is minuscule. But I said, okay, this could be really interesting for the channel. And he seemed very keen to have me talk about it. Okay. But Then something weird happened. Then I said, "Do you have a photo of Humphrey Bogart wearing the watch?" And he said, "If I had that photo, that would be," I think he said, $1 million photo to me, because that would be ironclad proof. Now I opened the box and he even had the sales receipt and so on. It was $3,000, and I thought, how did he get Humphrey Bogart's watch for $3,000? That's a bit weird. So I wound up in this situation where I was like, hold on a minute. Is this Humphrey Bogart's watch or is it speculation? Because it's one thing to say, I think it is, and there's a certain amount of proof that it is. It has an inscription on the back and things like that. But it's not ironclad proof. I think if it were, the watch would have sold for a lot more. So then the penny began to drop in my mind. I went, I see what the guy's doing. He's a nice guy, but he's also, by the way, I discovered along the way that he was quite ill, quite ill. I think he had a stroke or something, and he was gaining mobility again. And this was like one of his little hobbies that he had while he was, immobile. So I suppose that added to the tenderness of the story, but also didn't take away from the fact that I could see what he was actually really doing. He thought that my channel, if I did a big feature that was really artistic and had, we did a Casablanca scene, and that would add provenance to the watch. I realized that that's what really he was interested in, and he expressed along the way that it was about selling the watch, that this was hopefully his meal ticket. If he could just score the right sale, or his ship would finally come in, which I can understand. I mean, it's fair enough. Like, he thought he got, and he may still have, it may actually be really the watch. But however, I'm in a situation where I'm like, I have a channel. Like, I can't go on the record saying it's definitely the watch when I don't know. I have a strong hunch it is, but I don't know because there is no photo. There's no photo. And he said, I've scoured the internet if you want to look. So I started looking. And that put the brakes on the thing for quite some time. Because I was like, what am I going to do? I can't say this is his. I mean, I'll get murdered on the channel. Look at these trolls today. My God, it's like they have nothing else to do. Imagine I go on record saying this is Humphrey Bogart's watch, and then someone comes forward saying, I have the real watch. How does that look? The guy gets away scot-free, the original owner. I'm not going to say his name. That's not fair. But I get burnt because I went on the record, right? So I'm like, if we can only get a photo of this damn watch at the man's wrist. So it left me a little bit, what am I going to do? Am I going to do this anyway? But he had such hopes, and he would write me every day with long ideas. He's like, I hope I'm not intruding, but here's my idea for and he'd had like 10 or 20 ideas, just like shoot me. I was like, oh God, that's great in theory, man, but I've got to go film it. I got to get a set and hire actors and, find a venue. And this is like 3 months work for me, Okay, it could be really cool, but again, it's a difference between thinking of it and then doing it, right? So time went by, and I kept saying, okay, listen, yeah, I still want to do something with this watch. It is a really interesting story. And I did on Archie. I think I was on live one time, and I introduced everybody to the watch. I was like, look at this. I said, this is Humphrey Bogart's watch. Because to those lads, and I also had people at dinner once, and I was like, this is Humphrey Bogart's watch, because I'm 90% sure it is, but I can't go on the record saying it is unless I get that fucking one photo. But of course, that one photo if it existed. If it were out there, I would have never received the watch in the first place. The reason he sent it to me is so I would create more provenance to the watch. I see what he was up to, and that's fine. That's fine. He just wants to sell the thing and make a load of money. That's fine. I get it. So time went by. He would email me regularly, and one day I get a call on my phone. I rarely get calls. It's like a weird thing to get a call. I answered and it's a 044 plus 44. So it's Great Britain, because he's in Britain, which, by the way, is an important thing to remember for later. So I get a call and he explains, he's like, hey, it's me. It's the first time we actually spoke on the phone. I was like, hey, man. I was like, it was 11 at night or something, 10:30. I was watching TV. He goes, I emailed you earlier and you never answered. And I was like, oh, dude, I just didn't get to my email. I've been out all day. What seems to be the problem? And I had to kind of put his mind at ease. And I realized the guy is a little, he's just a little, I would never say this had this person not completely attacked me and sent wolves after me. Now, game on, all cards are on the table now. I would never say this if it weren't for that. But he didn't seem completely, he was a little unstable on the phone. And I realized maybe he was a little paranoid or something. I was like, God, why would you? Like, people have sent me watches that are way more valuable. Oh, God. So I put his mind at ease. I'm like, no, it's okay. I just really need to film it. I've been through a lot. I nearly fucking died of COVID. Like, let me just get back on my feet. And I want to find time to really do something great here. Eventually, he just went, okay, just send it back. And I said, okay. I'm thinking, fuck, film it, dude. Film it before you send it back, because you'll never see this thing again. And if it turns out it really is the Bogart watch, you'll be sorry you didn't film it. So I started filming the hell out of it. And then I explained to him that to ship it back, and now I'm going to get on to a point that's very, very delicate, and it applies to pretty much every story tonight. Shipping. I touched off it earlier. Especially in Great Britain, United States, and so on. If you want to ship there, because of Brexit, I still have yet to see evidence why that was a good idea, but whatever, that's a whole other discussion. And a lot of my friends are suffering because of it. It's now out of the EU. You're sending it across borders. So me sending him his gold watch back would mean fees. Can you imagine? The guy, I think, is in a wheelchair or something. I don't know what his situation is, honestly, but I believe he's ill and fragile and delicate, not entirely physically not in perfect shape. And he sends off his watch with hopes that his favorite watch channel is going to make it this big miraculous video, and answer all his dreams, only to get it back. And then the extra insult of getting fees, because they come to your door. I've been in this situation a million times. They come to your door and they say the fees are, and unless you hand them the money right there, they walk away. You can't take the box. That's how it works. So I'm like, I need to send this in a very, now I'm admitting to intent of a crime. Anybody want to try and chase me with the law? Go right ahead. Intent. There was no crime actually committed, but the intent of sending it and not declaring, what it was really worth is a gold watch. Had I sent it back with its actual value, he would have been hit with, I don't know, 500 to 1,000. God knows where. I receive watches a lot here when I purchase stuff, and the fees can be hefty, very hefty. It can turn you off the whole thing completely. If you've noticed, the UK price is going way down because they're trying to compensate for that difference. So people in Europe might still want to buy, because then they calculate the fees. That's how it's working. That's why all the prices in America seem so much lower, and Japan seem so much lower, because you're going to get hit with $2,500 of fees once it arrives, import fees. So there I am trying to break the law, considering breaking the law for this dude, so I can fucking, So I'm like, dude, I'm trying to organize it and get it back to you. I fucking forgot. I went one day with other watches and I totally forgot the watch. I'm like, oh no, you idiot, you totally forgot the Gruen. Jesus, now you're gonna hear about it. Fuck. Sure enough, knock, knock, knock. A couple of days later, where's the? I'm like, oh man, I'm an idiot. I'm getting it to you. I swear. So the other day, he's calling me on the phone, like frantically, and I'm like, oh my God. So I write to him and I say, man, I'm going this week to ship another watch. I will bring your watch. I'm so sorry. I know it's been ages. I filmed it, so that's good news, right? Now I can put something together. It's not going to be the thing that I wanted to do, but I'll do something for you because I feel bad and I let you down. But I said, you don't want me to ship it from here because that's going to incur fees. Is that cool? You're going to get like $800 of fees, because I've seen them here in UPS here. They strip the box open. You may have taped it up all nice and ready to ship. No, they'll cut it open and take everything out to inspect it in the UPS store here. And if they see a gold watch, doesn't matter if it's old, they're going to be like, no, this value isn't correct. We have to now reevaluate. I know some people right now are thinking, oh, just mark it as return to sender. Doesn't work. Tried it a million times. I shipped computers all around the world for 20 years in New York. You think I don't know what I'm fucking doing? Sorry, I'm speaking to one person in particular. Fucking asshole who was threatening me. Anyway, sorry guys. Sorry the rest of you. Doesn't work. They don't believe that. Otherwise, you could totally write that and everything and ship shit all around the world. Oh, it's return to sender. You think they believe you now? They inspect what it is. If they see a precious metal item or anything with diamonds or anything, boom. So send him back his watch and then he gets fees on it. I don't want to do that. So I'm like, I have to get to that. Oh, it's 50 minutes away on the train. It's 50 minutes. For a long time, I couldn't even get on the train because I didn't have a green pass. And they're very strict about that here. Now that's gone. That's fine. We're moving into a new era. Great. But for a long time, that shit fucked me up bad because I couldn't get to my guy and fucking help me with all of that stuff. So I said, listen, I will remind you that I need to set aside a whole day and go to a totally different town 50 minutes away to ship it. It's not exactly like I'm being lazy and not dropping it off downstairs underneath the house at the post office. No. It requires a little bit of strategy, my friend. But I was a bit sarcastic at this point. Like, don't call my phone 3 million times. If I don't pick up the first time, you can assume that there's a reason, right? God damn it. So I said, I can send it right away from here. And there's going to be like $800 of fees. You cool with that? That okay with you? And he didn't like that. So what did he do? He called in the cavalry. And they're all watching right now. You lousy bunch. Threats. One guy signed an email, the Hornet's Nest. This is the kind of characters this guy has friends. Woo. I'm like, no. You want to get my back up? You threaten me. You threaten me and you try and bully me, because then I'm back in school again, in the schoolyard with those guys surrounding me again. You don't fucking threaten. You don't do that. Because I got a sword too. Okay? Let's remain gentlemen. Somehow he thought this was a good idea to get guys to fucking make me fear for my safety or whatever the fuck, or they're going to start, doxing me or whatever the terminology is. Yeah, you stepped in the wrong lump of shit with this Irish man. I swear to God, guys. So, will he get his watch back? Of course. Jesus Christ. Why would I ever do that to the man? Why would I ever do that in the first place? I mean, I have my own collection. I keep repeating the same shit, but nobody seems to be listening. You think there's some sort of grand conspiracy behind it? My God. My God. And there I was thinking I was doing the guy a favor. Had I made the video, he would have sold the watch for a lot of money. And now that all this has come out and his friends have shown their face, I'm kind of glad I didn't make the video. I say yes to too many fucking people, man. Brass Pipe, love the channel. Keep your chin up. Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry if I'm getting a little, sorry, guys. It's been a weird day. Very weird day. And I've yet to get to the best part. Think about that. Fucking awesome. This is a good one. I'm glad there's a lot of people watching. You're about to learn some pretty horrific shit. Time we got. Tim Wright is waiting. I'm sorry, Tim, but I'm actually only getting onto the juicy shit now. So you're going to start your stream because Tim was going to, I was going to hand it over to him. Tim has a lot to say on this subject too, but unfortunately, I have a way of ranting. It's the Irish gift of the gab. Something a Dutchman can't emulate properly. So let me get straight into it. I can't say his name either because by God, that fucker is waiting on his crew. So I'm gonna say, what's his name? I'll give him a new name. Well, do you remember the movie Midnight Cowboy? Do you remember Ratso? Ratso didn't want to go. He didn't want to be called Ratso. He wanted to be called another name that rhymes with the name. So I'm gonna call him Ratso because it works perfectly. Rhymes with Fatso. Now I'm getting petty. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, this is the last piece of fucking shit. I feel like there should be a drum roll or something. Let me have a little sip of wine first. What's everybody drinking? Look at this guy. Show us the Gruen. Oh, sorry, I missed it. It's gone so fast. Sorry, I missed. I got somebody else's. I could have watched Starship Troopers 3 in all this wasted. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Oh, I pulled up the wrong thing. But clearly he's watching after 1 hour and 23. So as someone said to me earlier today, there's a lot of hate watchers, They can't look away. They just they can't avoid hating. They love to hate. So last thing is this guy. So last September, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a watch YouTuber, not a big one, but if you're really into all the streams and stuff, him. I don't want to say his name. I'm going to call him Ron. Okay. It's not his name at all. And he's a nice guy and we always got along well. And he reached out to me and he said, I heard you've got a few pieces. Are you interested in selling anything? And at the time I was thinking I could use a bit of cash. So he said, send me a list. And I sent him a list of like 10 or 12 pieces that I didn't want to sell 10 or 12, just 1 or 2 of those, but I gave him options. If he wanted that one, I'd be like, okay, maybe I'll, wear the other one, just give him options. Maybe he'll pick one from that bunch. And he came back saying, hard learner, I'm sorry, I have to shut you down because it's tiring now, Again, you haven't listened to a fucking word I've even said, you plonker. And so this guy asked me, so I gave him the list, and he came back. This was last September 2021. He came back saying, sold 3 pieces I want to take. I said, well, fuck, 3? I don't want to sell 3. But he wanted 3 of the pieces. Really nice condition, new pieces. One of them new all stock. And I said, fuck, I'm not a trader. I'm not a flipper. I just have a nice collection. But I was like, oh, fuck, I guess I can sell. I can sell. Okay, I'll give him. Yeah, okay, that's a lot of money. It added up to about 42K. The prices at the time, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll fucking do it. Okay, so we kind of shook hands over the phone. He's a lovely man, and we had a good chat, and we made the agreement fine. Actually, there was another little piece like a Seiko in there as well, but that was fine. That was all taken care of. Great. So I put down the phone. A few days go by. Okay, nothing coming into the account. Fine. Okay. Well, he's good for it. He's a nice man. Week goes by. 2 weeks go by. I'm like, what's going on? So I reach out. I'm like, hey, man, you still cool with that? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, okay. I'll just notice there was no money coming through, but that's okay. Fine. Even more time goes by. And I'm thinking, okay, I reach out again. He goes, yeah, don't worry. The money's coming through. It'll be there any day now. So I start making plans for other stuff, I'm like, oh, well, now I'll buy maybe that or this and so on. I start planning with that money in my mind. I'm not a super gazillionaire or anything. That's a lot of money for me. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll buy this, might buy that, pay that bill, do this, do stuff. And time just keeps going by and there's nothing. And I'm already kind of making other plans and committing to other stuff with other watch people and stuff. And I'm like, but that money isn't coming in. So it's empty. It's empty on my end because I don't have the capital yet coming in that I think I have coming in. So I reach back out again to my friend, Ron. It's not his real name, but I say, Ron, listen, man, if you don't want to buy them, it's okay. If you're not in the position, that's okay. Let me sell them to someone else because now I'm in a situation. I need to sell them. And he's like, no, please hold on to them, please. I'm like, dude, weeks have gone by. Fuck, like I didn't think it was going to take you this long, but okay, still like you. He sent me a bottle of whiskey for my birthday in September and everything. Then I started thinking, did he just do that to soften me? Like I start getting a bit paranoid about my friend, whatever. I met him on the streams. He's a nice gentleman. That's all. He's a fan of the channel too. I've never met him in person. So anyway, and here comes the stuff, guys. You're going to learn a lot now. You're going to learn a lot. Get ready. So again, weeks, I go off to London. I bring home this. I commit to this. This is a big purchase for me. So I'm putting myself kind of out there. And I find myself being held hostage because this money isn't coming through and I'm holding these 3 pieces. And again, I reach out, listen, please let me just sell these on. It's okay. No harm, no foul. You fell in hard times. Tell me that. I'll buy it. Whatever. Just, no. The money will be in your account within 24 hours. All sorts of promises. Shit. Okay. And it just keeps going on and on. Now that was mid-September. Mid-December, I get money through to my account. And it's from Ratso. Ratzo is a very big YouTuber. He's a small, dumpy, fat, obnoxious man from Holland, kind of masquerading as a Northern Irish person. I kind of thought I liked him about a year ago, but by God, I don't know how we were unleashed with this utter psychopath on YouTube. I really don't know how it happened. And I feel bad for the people who work with them, actually, because I heard them on the phone. I spoke to one of them in particular. It's like a fucking liability of theirs, too. Anyway, it's from him. And I'm like, what? So I turned to my friend Ron. I'm like, what's going on behind the scenes, man? Just be honest. Fuck me. I think it's my friend Ron. I don't think it's Ratzo. I don't think it's him. I think he's being a good fella. And I think the liaison in the middle just turned out to be, dark dude. And I'm so disappointed in him. And I'm on live streams with popular YouTubers and he's coming on and I'm like, I'm not staying on live with him after what he did to me. I suffered for months. I humiliated myself with other people and I made them wait for money and I had to go beg, borrow, and steal to make good on other things because I was hoping for that money, expecting that money any day now, quote unquote, right? It injured me. I don't have a big operation. I'm not an operation. I'm a watch enthusiast who sometimes sells a watch here and there. Sue me, you know. You know why I sell a watch here and there? To buy another watch. Go figure. So I have the sickness of watch addiction, right? Like many of us. So I confront my friend Ron, and I'm like, and I'm angry on the phone because of what he put me through. By now, by the time the money came in, I desperately had to sell 2 of the 3 pieces. Desperately. And I took a hit bad because I was desperately trying to blame other people. And so now I'm in a situation. So I asked Ron, I'm like, dude, does he know who he sent the money to? Like, I never knew he was involved in this. Never knew it was him. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Time went on. And I said, well, okay, well, now I only have 1 of the pieces. Now I've got to go find the other 2 and buy them back or offer money or find equivalent pieces to save face, right? Now I'm like in the shitter. And I'll remind you guys of something very, very important. And this is essential. It's changed now because it's taken a dip, the market. But at the time, Rolex was going up by hundreds a day, every day. It came out later that this is the game that a lot of these guys are playing, including our Dutch friend. He says yes to lots of pieces all around the world and makes everybody wait while they appreciate. Makes promises. Money will be there until he goes, okay, now I'll buy them. Now they've appreciated. And in fact, the pieces that I had promised, I'd make that phone call handshake, had gone up by thousands in that whole time. I thought, what a fucking clever trick this is. I think I still at the time thought it was wrong. I got on the phone with Ratzo and I was like, shit, I'll get you your money back. He started out with this crap like, I sent him, I told Ron, because I thought I was shipping to Ron. Ron told me to ship under a different name and stuff. I was like, you don't want me to ship under my own name? Ron, just be honest. What the fuck is going on? This is weird operations, man. This is super creepy. Like, and I had to ship under a different name. It was like, oh, fucking weird. I was like, well, I'm not shipping all 3. I'm sourcing the other 2. I'm going to ship 1 at a time because if the box goes missing, we have a problem. So I shipped the first one, a GMT Master 2 black, all black, new old stock. late 2018. I said it was 2019. That was my slip up, and I admitted to that later. It was early. I thought it was early 2019. It was late 2018. Much of a muchness, as it happens, as Ratzo's friends admitted, really doesn't really make a difference that much. But Ratzo made a big fucking deal out of it, as he does out of everything. So that piece went out, and then I'm like, I'm shipping the next one. That one arrived. Then I start getting the fucking harassing calls. I don't trust you, Ashil. You know, I don't need to say his name anymore. I can just impersonate the motherfucker. Honestly, I don't trust you. I'm like, I don't fucking trust you. Are you joking? I'm trying to band-aid this situation that you put me in. It all came out that Ron had nothing to do with it. And I screamed at Ron on the phone, like many of you heard me scream at Ratso earlier. And then I called, once the penny dropped, I went, oh, no. This ain't Ron. This is that guy. He's behind it. He's the one doing all the promising and the dodgy deals. I called Ron and I said, I think I owe you an apology. And the first thing he said, he's like, I love you, Oshin, man. I love you. And it broke my heart, man. I was like, Ron, why did you cover for him? Why did you do that? It was him all along doing this dodgy shit, which, by the way, guys, I found out he's been doing for years. The whole fucking watch community knows it. They're just not going to say it. I'm saying it now. I said, why did you cover for him? And he says, dude, because that's the way I am. I just cover for people. If it was you in the opposite situation, I would cover for you. And I was like, Ron, I would never do that to you. I would never put you in that place. Like, what are you talking about? So then I knew who the real enemy was and who the real problem was. And it turns out that this is a thing that he does. And I can assume the company he represents also, although I'm sad to say that, because I was then put on to a colleague of his who was a much nicer guy. Oh, yeah, sorry. Let me not get things out of order. So immediately, Ratzo starts on the threats. Oh, here we go again. The threats. Really? That's where we want to begin. I'm sorry, I have to put this on our vlog. I'm like, excuse, can you repeat that, please? You want to slander me and tell the world about this where I'm trying to fix a situation you made? I'm afraid, Oshin, I have to put this on our vlog. Trying to wield his power because he has an extremely large channel. That's true. I won't deny that. Who's watching? I have no idea. Teenage kids in fucking the Far East who like to see a guy yell extremities, expletives at the camera, no doubt. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. And some watch guys in there, no doubt too. But I'm like, no, you don't come right out of the gate. I'm trying to fix the situation you put me in. I'm trying to band-aid it now, and you're threatening to go postal on me and public on me? No. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. So it became very clear. So I ended up talking to his colleague, who's a much saner, more balanced, nicer guy, more logical. And I said, listen, this guy, at first I make a deal with Ratso. I'm like, okay, let me try and get it. He decides I don't want the watches. But he decides to keep the one I sent. Yeah, it's here now. So yeah. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. It's here now. We agreed on 15,000. Now the thing is worth fucking 19 because you made me wait 3 months. Clever little bastard you are. So I'm like, yeah, no kidding. You're keeping the watch. It's you'd be mad not to. And I'm an idiot for falling for your little game. Clearly. So I decide I don't. He calls me. He calls me. Oh fuck! And he gets. I don't respond. He sends this text. Oh yeah, payment in 2 days. And I'm just like, what is he doing? Like, what's going on? This is fucking weird. So I don't reply. I have no obligation to reply. And then he calls me in the middle of the night. All his calls are always in the middle of the night. He's clearly drunk or high or whatever the fuck he is. And he's like, I feel disrespected. I'm like, you feel disrespected? You don't know what I just went through. You can hang on. You're getting your money. Don't worry. I don't want to fucking keep anyone's money. I've already promised you to get it all back. But now I have to figure out the quagmire you've left me in because I was sourcing the other pieces. I sourced one of them and I was almost about to source the other. So I was spending the money that I was supposed to earn to buy the pieces back. I was being buffaloed and pushed around by a bully, basically, is what was happening. Anyway, I just decided I'm not speaking to that fucker anymore. Threats right out of the gate. No, you don't do that. And threaten me with your channel. I don't give a shit about your channel. You want to burn my channel? Go ahead. Go fucking ahead if you want. Who gives a shit? So I said, I'll talk to the other guy. I won't mention his name either. He's actually a very nice guy. He made some unfortunate moves in the end. He kind of took his hands off and walked away. I was like, you're going to leave it up to the Rottweiler in the corner to broker this? That was probably not a good move. Anyway, I said, I'll deal with you and you from now on, and let's take care of this and fix this situation that we've all found ourselves in. So I sent him $10,000. So now they had taken the watch 15,000 was the agreed amount, and I sent him 10. And he called me one day and he said, listen, I haven't had much time. I've been traveling. I've got young kids and stuff. Can you explain exactly what happened? And I told him every single detail. And he was shocked that it was 9 or 10 weeks before I was paid. He said he'd have words with his colleague, that's what you want to call him, about that. He was frankly quite embarrassed about it. And he also accepted the fact that the watches had, particularly the watch that I actually sent, had appreciated by thousands in the interim. And I think he recognized exactly that point. And he said, listen, instead of giving you 15, I'll give you 17 for that, because you're right. Like, the thing is nearly at 20,000 now. It went to 22 and a half in the peak. Things have changed now. It's a new world now in the past 2 months. Different. They've softened. But actually, that piece hasn't softened a whole lot in the new all stock range. But anyway, so he was nice enough to do that. And I said, you know what? I was going to say it, but I didn't want to say it. I was going to say, listen, don't you really owe me different prices now? What's that phrase that goes around the watch world? Today's price is not yesterday's price. Isn't that Bible? Try today's price is not 3 months ago's price, dickhead. So the nicer guy, can't say his name, said, listen, I'll extend an olive branch. And I said, well, that's very courteous and gentlemanly of you, and thank you, to help alleviate the situation. I sent him 10,000. And then my bank got shut down. My bank account got shut down. Fuck. The Italians were like, what's going on? I was like, I have a weird, expensive hobby. They were like, yeah, we believe you, but the authorities won't. They'll come fucking knock on your door. There goes the seagulls. That represents all the trolls yelling, and that's like an audio version. In the background, Nico as well. So I was like, fuck. And this was originally the excuse for not being paid for 3 months for me. That was the excuse I heard on the phone. My bank got shut down. My bank account happens to a lot of watch traders. So I was expected to accept that excuse. But then when I had the same exact problem, and I have the whole email thing, I can demonstrate everything. They were like, "What are you doing? You know, what's all these big transactions going on? Who are you?" You know, um, they didn't accept that. You know, I'm like, "Well, I'm in a bit of difficulty here, so if you, I waited 3 months for you guys. If you don't mind, you have to remember as well that when I finally got paid, it was in December. It was heavy lockdown here. You couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't ship anything anywhere. You couldn't do anything the whole Christmas. So I was like, well, they'll have to wait. And honestly, I don't really mind that they have to wait because I waited. So then I sent another 6. I'm like, okay, we're getting there now. I only owe 9. This guy starts calling me like a lunatic in the middle of the night, like 50 calls a night. I call his nicer, saner, level headed friend. I'm like, does this guy understand? You told him, right? I told you to tell him I'm not answering his calls. I'm not dealing with the guy. Guy opens up with threats. Not good. Don't start there. Let's fix the situation, not threaten one another. So it just kept getting worse. Then I'm like not answering the calls. And of course, the more you don't answer, the more aggravated he gets, right? And he's probably drunk and high and whatever the fuck he does, facing cocaine, whatever the hell he's doing, right? Middle of the night, calling me at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. If I don't answer the first time, that's a signal, you maniac. So I call his friend. I'm like, listen, I'm not talking to that dude. He's threatening. He's doing all sorts of crazy shit. I'm fixing this with you. Someone who wants to steal your money doesn't pay you 10,000 and then 6,000. They don't, they just disappear and they change their phone number. You know, there's no reason to behave this way. So a couple of other YouTubers, one in particular who I've been friends with for a long time, who I also won't mention, tried to intervene because they got rattled by the loud person. Squeaky wheels get the most oil, right? This loud person started shouting at everyone and throwing his weight around, quite literally. He has a lot of it to throw around. And they got a little rattled and came back to me, and they were trying to alleviate this situation. And I said, no, let me deal with this, because this is a classic bully. And I grew up dealing with classic bullies. So I know how to deal with this guy. He'll get his money back. Even if it's in a big bag of pennies, he'll get it back. I don't want to take anybody's money, but I won't take threats and accusations. Then the guy starts to dox. He puts out my home address, my phone number on the WhatsApp. I start getting calls from complete strangers. America, Italy. I spoke to a couple of the Italians. Two of the guys they got a criminal denouncement already. I spoke to both of them, one of them at length. He was made understood that I owed 42,000 and he never received any watches or money or anything. He's been told this story. Fun, right? The guy, actually, the Italian, he's in Rome. He said to me, listen, if it's true, like if you don't owe 42 and if you've already sent watches and money, a watch and money, I'll never speak to the guy again, because he made me believe that he gave you 42K and he never saw anything in return. That's what aggravated me. I said, listen, you sound like a nice guy, but you've broken the law. It's called calunnia in Italy. It's called slander. And you put it out there across the WhatsApp. I had friends of mine calling me in the watch business here, good friends, going, Jesus, we just saw your face on WhatsApp. I'm like, so you fucked up now, man. And the law's coming for you. I'm sorry, you sound like a good guy, but I'm already talking to the Carabinieri and my lawyer is already all over it. He has everything in snapshot. The dude deleted all his own comments from WhatsApp. I thought it was funny because I have the whole thing snapshotted. Disgusting. Scum. While I'm trying to band-aid the situation that he put me in. I spoke to Giorgio Mondani. George has been around for a while, and she represents a very reputable group in the watch world. And I've been speaking to her actually for over a year now. We speak in Italian. I was due to go out and see her whole operation there and have lunch together and so on. And she had some things to say. And then I spoke to other guys in the trade, and they're like, "Yeah, this is what he does. This is the sort of thing. If he owes you money, it's all excuses and all apologies. If you owe him money, then it's phone calls in the middle of the night. Give me my money. All I want is my money." Wow. Cool. That's who you're dealing with there. Sorry to say. I can only assume it goes through the entire business. I don't know. But a lot of people got fucked over. You lose a lot of money to a lot of people. Now that the clincher has come down, now that the market is dulling or crashing or whatever people want to say, it's probably making it harder on guys like him and other people. So the pinch is getting harder, probably making more aggravation, which means more drinking in the middle of the night, which means more calls to Oisin in the middle of the night. Never had any intention of keeping this goddamn money. I just had to now sell the watch that I had repurchased and band-aid the whole situation. But in the meantime, you don't make threats. You don't fucking threaten me. You lousy son of a bitch. You don't do that. All right. And that explains the phone call that you guys heard, because that was after 50 million calls he made to me. And I just got calls to my home. I'll explain the phone call. That day, I got calls from many, many people, all sorts of doxing, people saying, "I'll see you," sending me my home address, going, "See you soon," making death threats or at least physical threats to me, right? Fun. And all sorts of shit. My friends approaching me going, "What the hell?" All sorts of the damages that he incurred will ripple on for probably quite some time. So you think I was in a good mood when I finally picked up a call from him? No. What you heard was pretty fucking light. Pretty light. He put me in a terrible spot. He held me ransom for 3 months. He damaged me, he injured me in many ways. I tried to band-aid the situation as best I could, even facilitating his nonsense. And on top of that, he doxed me and went for the jugular. Well, I've got a sword too, motherfucker. So that's where that phone call comes from. And if you still can't get your head around that phone call, I don't know what to say to you. Because a person like that, who's a bully and a pig, buffaloing people, intimidating them, doxing them. I moved apartment. I had to move apartment. The effects have been huge. People are complaining on the channel, "Where's the content?" You know what? I had a lot of other shit to deal with. Maybe the guy about the Gruen watch understands a little bit more about what I was going through at the same time. The Seiko guy, not so much. It's been a year. I get it, man. I'm sorry. It's a bummer the way it worked out. I really wanted to do that Davey 504 video as well. What's up, modders? Someone can steal that now. Maybe Russell can do it. He'll do a great job on that. And the first guy, well, his watch is back at this point. So there it is, guys. Let me just check. Anyone who has anything to do with that complete and utter psychopath. I went into his whole history. I have a lot of friends in Holland. I have a big Dutch connection because I wrote the national anthem for Aruba, or I rearranged it, reconstructed it, and they're all Dutch. And Oh yeah. Oh, we digged into some stuff. There's a reason why he ran out of that place and why he shit the bed all over the place and then assumed a new identity in Belfast. So it seems that the leopard or the zebra has shown his stripes. You know, it's that phrase. Eventually, you do show your stripes, and that's what's happening again. So here we are. But one thing is for sure, man, I'll go down. I don't care. I'll go down in flames. You want to try and take me down? I'll go down, but you're coming down with me. Somebody wants to get heavy handed and come meet me, come find me. That's great. You may even win, but by the end of it, you'll wonder whether it was worth it. Because the last thing I will do is succumb to a bully, to threats, to slander, to intimidation. That ain't gonna work. The guy with the Graham watch, he thought he was getting his mates in to help him. What? They're not helping in any way. That's not help. Intimidating and bullying and threatening doesn't help anyone. If anything, it will just make things disastrously worse. That's not how you approach people. That's not the way you do it. Okay? That's not the way you do it. If you think a crime has taken place, you can always report it to the police. But really, let's get fucking real. Who the hell wants to steal your stupid ass watch? Especially a guy like me who has a public image. I was reminded so many times by so many people watching. Oh, you have a public image. We can smear you. Yeah, you think I don't know that? Why on earth would I ever? I'm not that kind of person anyway. And I have way better watches than most of you watching. Let's be honest. Why on earth would I steal somebody's goddamn Seiko or somebody's like 50-year-old watch that doesn't even have a clear history? Why would I do that? Think about that for 5 fucking seconds. Anyway, anybody who goes near that fat CUNT is not my friend. That guy is shady from the top to the bottom. And the worst part is he does it with a big, loud voice in plain sight. Not good. Anyway, oh, by the way, he tried to backpedal on the olive branch that his colleague extended. That 2,000 extra for that watch for the GMT to accommodate for the market shift in that huge amount of time. He reneged on that and went back on it. Cool, classy. That's nice. And as many of you saw, he records all the shit. So he recorded my conversation with him that night. I don't give a shit. Suck it. All right, guys, it is midnight here exactly. I've gone over by half an hour. I hope Tim Wright is not super angry with me. Tim, if you're watching, I need help to hand it over to you, my friend. Send me your link in the chat because I believe Tim is going to talk about, Tim likes to talk about what's going on in the watch world, drama, all that shit. Thanks for all watching. I'm sorry if it's all drama shit and you'd rather me just, get back to watches. I would too. It kind of was about watches, but just in a weird way. Sometimes I talk about other stuff. But yeah, there it is. I hope some of you have enjoyed it. And if you haven't, or if you're still convinced of the great conspiracy that the Timeless Watch Channel wants to steal people's shitty watches, amazing. I don't know what to tell you, fellas. I'm getting links here. I'm trying to hand this over to Tim in case anyone's interested. Tim Wright, you should all subscribe to him. He's a great guy. And he follows this kind of stuff and everything else that's happening in the watch world. All right, guys. See if I can orchestrate this correctly. Let me get Timmy on. Is he on his own stream? I think I have to hand it off to him. What do you guys think I should do? How do you think I should give Nico's money? I want to give it to him, of course. Like, I don't fucking keep anybody's money. But like pennies or quarters or what currency? I want to give him a weird currency in a big bag. You know? Like leave it at his fucking doorstep. Thanks for nothing, dickhead. Okay, the link is in the chat for Timmy if you want to hear what other people have to say. I'm sure some people disagree, some people agree, some people are, can't make their mind up. Whatever they think, that's fine. Free country, free planet. Click on Tim's link. He's going to put it again in the chat. And you can click over there and see what the rest of the Watch fam have to say. I wish you all a very good night, good Wednesday night, except for one person. And I want to ask for forgiveness for the other three fellas that things went the way they did. It was not my intention. I hope everything can be all wrapped up and settled soon. If anybody wants to pursue the Gruen, you can reach out to me privately and I can give you the information. I don't want to talk about him here, obviously, that's not fair, but if anybody's interested in that, it very well may be Humphrey Bogart's watch. We don't have ironclad proof. We don't. And that was one of the big stalls in the whole thing. But it might be. It really might be. And I said it at dinner to friends and stuff, and because I'm pretty sure, but it's not enough to, But you might want to investigate it. If you're interested in buying it from the gentleman, I'm sure he'd be delighted to entertain offers. All right, guys. Have a great night. All the best.